What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Take 3 podcast. We're here Thursday, just about an hour or so away from Thursday night football. Not really much on the docket. We're skipping straight through that again. It seems like the NFL, they conned Amazon in with an $11 billion deal, and then they give them games like last week. They give them games like this week. We're glossing right over that. It's going to be a bad game. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. This is the game where you sit back and it suddenly somehow becomes good out of nowhere, but I doubt it. So we're moving straight into Sunday. When you look at Sunday, I mean, Jets 3-2, Green Bay looking to get back. They just lost to the Giants. Would that be something if Zach Wilson and the Jets go into Lambeau, beat Aaron Rodgers? The Packers, obviously, we've seen what their offense is, handoffs and flat routes, not good. Jacksonville and Indianapolis, Matt Ryan, awful. Can the Jags put it back together? They've been in shambles since blowing it in the pouring rain in Philadelphia, obviously. Cincinnati goes on the road to New Orleans. That should be interesting. And then we get into some closer matchups record-wise. Baltimore looking to get the 4-2, get themselves in a better position in that AFC playoff picture. They face the 4-1 Giants, 5.5-point favorites. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then later in the day, I mean, you get two marquee matchups late in the afternoon. Buffalo going into Kansas City, and then obviously Dallas heading into Philadelphia, the two marquee games of the day. So when you look at this slate, I mean, what are you excited for entering week 6?
Yeah, week 6 is finally here. I say that because I could not be more excited for Sunday night. We got a one-loss Dallas team heading into a undefeated Philadelphia team for the first place in the division. I cannot wait for that game. And the game we get before that might be the AFC Championship preview again. Bills and Chiefs, like, you cannot get better football than those two games. I cannot wait. And there's some interesting one in the noon window, like the Jets and the Packers, I think is interesting. And there's a lot of dogs that I think could straight up win this week, including the Jets, Jacksonville, Seattle. So I think this is a pretty fun weekend. I think it's going to be a much more exciting weekend of football than last weekend.
Yep. So, I mean, let's move on. First game, as you mentioned, in that 1 o'clock window. If it lets me flip over, there we go. We got the Baltimore Ravens just traveling up the 95 Turnpike, heading into New York to face the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley, Brian Dable, Daniel Jones. They're sitting at 4-1. It's not the greatest 4-1. I think when I wrote this, the spread was 6. I don't know if it dropped down to 5.5, but obviously it's a game. When you look at it, it's how valid is the 4-1 record for the New York Giants. A lot of people, I mean, including us, I'd say, don't think they're actually a 4-1 quality team, but at the end of the day, the games are played on the field, right? And they're scratching out wins. Saquon Barkley looks like he's back to his old form. He's pretty remarkable. And Daniel Jones, honestly, not turning the rock over, and Dable managing him and putting that team in position to win games is pretty remarkable through 5 weeks. And then you got Lamar, obviously nail biter last week. They beat the Bengals. They're looking to continue that momentum going on the road as favorites. What do you look at when you see Lamar Jackson taking on the Giants? Obviously, it seems like when you just look at this on paper, it's Ravens should win this easily, but it's like, I don't know, man. The Giants seem like they could be annoying. The defense is there. Saquon Barkley is there to kind of make it an annoying day. And they're facing their old defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, as well, who is the DC for the Giants. He likes to dial up some blitzes. He kind of knows that Ravens offense being in their building.
Yeah, so this is one of those games where I think it's very big for the New York Giants. Probably the biggest Giants game in a few years since they've been so abysmal. And like, this is, if the New York Giants win this game and they have home field advantage, like, I might start to buy into the New York Giants. I think it's very, very telling that the Ravens are 6-point favorites on the road, which means they would be 2 possession favorites in Baltimore, which sounds correct on paper, but I'm just weary of it because all of a sudden this Giants team's 4-1. They were 8-point underdogs last week and they straight up won. So I don't think it's crazy. I think we're going to see a lot from the Giants, like their true colors, see how good of a football team they really are. The Ravens are like a perfect measuring stick. I expect Brian Dable to get a bunch of short passes, intermediate throws for Daniel Jones. I expect his completion percentage to be decently high. And then they're going to run Saquon, probably 25 times. He's been fantastic when he gets a ton of touches, 5 yards to carry, 4.5 yards to carry. If they're able to get that kind of production with Daniel Jones being efficient in the air, I don't know. I don't think it would be crazy. I do think, though, this Ravens team is just a much better football team. I think Lamar is going to be able to get it going in the air and on the ground. I do expect Baltimore to win and cover. I would be surprised if the Giants win, but I'll give the Giants a lot of credit if they're able to win this game simply by just hammering Saquon and Daniel Jones. And it would say a lot about the Giants. So it actually, like, be pretty exciting for the Giants' future if they could plug in another quarterback, if they're really able to show that this roster is that good. I have a hard time buying into them still.
Oh, I'm not buying into them at all. Their 4 wins this year have been by 17 points combined. Obviously, yeah, I mean, they're looking for their best start since 09. I don't know. I just don't think the Ravens are the team that are just going to let Saquon Barkley mow them down and mow them down. As we saw when they lost to the Dolphins, there was a lot of airing it out. We saw when they lost to the Bills, it was Josh Allen. It was sloppy, but Josh Allen's leagues above Daniel Jones, what he can do with his arm and his legs. So I don't know. I just find it when I look at this game, I think the Giants can be annoying for 3 quarters, right? And then kind of fizzle out at the end. And the Ravens get run Dobbins, run Lamar, and have Mark Andrews involved, get their guys going. Yeah, I mean, I can't buy into the Giants. It's a great start, but I mean, as you said, it's a good measuring stick. If they're somehow able to steal this game from the Ravens, then it's like, damn, then I can sit back and I'm like, okay, we're through 6 weeks. They're 5-1. It might be time to take Brian Dable serious. I already take him serious. He's a good coach. Obviously what he got, but just take that football team serious if they're able to do this. But I don't see it. I mean, I like the Ravens. They're looking to continue to build momentum. Obviously some tough choke losses in the past couple weeks leading into this, but I like the Ravens to get things going. John Harbaugh is going to want to attack his old defensive coordinator. So that'll be a good battle to watch, see how each scheme works against each other, but I'm all with Lamar, man. I can't buy Giants at this point in time.
To me, it's all about Daniel Jones, and like it's hard to buy Daniel Jones. I think he might be an okay starter in the league. I just don't put a lot of stock into him. I put a lot of stock into Brian Dable and his coaching ability. He's clearly a head coach in this league. He's elevated Daniel Jones, and I think you pretty much nailed it. And at the end of the day, it's going to be, do you trust Daniel Jones against this Ravens secondary? This has not been a stellar secondary at all. So maybe Daniel Jones can show something this Sunday. But I think everyone that's not a New York Giants fan is kind of in agreement that Daniel Jones' ceiling is very limited. And we would all feel more comfortable trusting Lamar and the Ravens on the road than Daniel Jones and the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon has almost 700 yards from scrimmage this year. Daniel Jones has 848 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. It's been a very watered down baby M offense. I'd be very interested to see, right, if they're down in deep waters late in the game, say it's a 4-point game or it's a touchdown. Let's see what Daniel Jones has, right? Let's see when you can't just hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley and play that conservative offense, what he actually has. I think we kind of know how that'll go, but it's something that I'd like to see. You know, what will Dable's play calling look like if they're within reach and he has to put the ball in Daniel Jones's hand? Probably put him into a little uncomfortable territory, but it's something that I'd like to see. I mean, that's a good benchmark for the Giants. But yeah, I mean, we're all on it. We're both rolling Ravens. I'd be shocked if they lost. I like them to cover as well.
It would also be very encouraging if the Ravens could get a easy, secured win. If the Ravens are able to go out there and control for 60 minutes, I feel much better about them moving forward too. And to be fair to them, they've had close losses. They're a very, very good football team still.
Yep. Okay, late window. 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern. Bills, Chiefs. As you mentioned at the beginning of this is probably game of the day. I mean, it's not for me only because I'm an Eagles fan, but I mean, just as a football fan as a whole, this is the game of the day. This is probably, you're looking at AFC title game preview. Obviously, we know what happened last year in the playoffs. Josh Allen going into Arrowhead. They got revenge on their mind. They're 2.5-point favorites, which is the first time in Mahomes' career, I believe, at home. He's an underdog, which is, yeah, I mean, it's shocking. We see what Vegas thinks of these two teams. So yeah, what do you look like? I mean, when I look at this game, it's very hard to break down because I mean, it literally comes down to Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, right? I don't know if there's many other factors, maybe some defense, but obviously Buffalo's is kind of beat up. They don't really have a run game. I think it's going to be all on the two quarterbacks' arms, and I think we're going to have a fun 3-hour matchup leading into Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this game. I think you pretty much nailed it. It's like, how do you pick one of these sides with elite confidence? You've seen the national media going back and forth on these two guys all week, all off season, really. It's just like, for someone to come out here and say the Bills or the Chiefs with elite confidence is going to win the game easily, this or that, they're full of it. It's just who's going to make the least amount of mistakes, which quarterback gets the ball last. And that is really what's going to decide it. I expect Josh Allen to have a massive game, especially with the run game not really being there. I expect Josh Allen to be all over the place. And then Patrick Mahomes to really do his thing. I'm rolling Chiefs simply because of the stat you mentioned at the start. Patrick Mahomes has never been an underdog at home in his career. And when you have a team / quarterback as good as the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes is at home, and you can get points with them, or just straight money line as a positive, a plus 100 or whatever, yeah, I got to roll with them. It's not going to happen often in his career, but like I think this game, I don't think there's a ton of analysis here. It's as simple as like who makes the least amount of mistakes and who gets the ball last, because these are two elite football teams that expect to see each other down the road.
Yeah, it's a flat out slugfest. As I said, I mean, when I look at this game as a whole, I don't think it really matters who wins this one as a whole. Obviously, it could matter in postseason, right? But I feel like either of these teams are good enough to go in the other team's building and win. But I'm looking at what goes down Sunday and then forecasting into what team is going to make adjustments when these teams probably meet up in the AFC title game, right? What will the adjustments look like in January when they rematch? But yeah, I mean, the only thing I did take the Bills at -2.5. I like the Bills just because they have revenge on their mind. They're going in. They obviously had the sting with what happened last year. I think Josh Allen wants that back. But as somebody that picked the Bills, I do worry that the run game, obviously Josh Allen is their leading rusher. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, if Andy Reid wanted to flip it up and play ball control, we've seen Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He mowed down, they were able to mow down Tampa Bay, right? Ball control, run the football, and keep Tom off the field. So, I mean, that is a thing that concerns me, but I think it comes down to just a slugfest with these two quarterbacks having fun. As you said, comes down to who gets the ball last, because they can just quick strike, man. You got Stephon Diggs out there. You got Travis Kelce out there. There's just so much to love that's out on that field. It sucks that they only play once, right? Like, I'd love to see Josh Allen and Mahomes play twice a year because it's just that good of football.
I'll say this about the Bills too. This doesn't really apply for this Sunday, but later on down the road for the playoffs, I feel like the Bills' ceiling is higher than the Chiefs. The offenses are pretty much equal to me at this point when you take out Tyreek Hill. And then I just think the Bills have a little bit of a higher ceiling because they have more room to grow on defense with just by getting healthy and everything.
Yep.
So like come playoff time, I think I would lean Bills, but I got to go Chiefs this Sunday at home getting points.
Yeah, I love it. It's literal pick'ems. I'm interested to see how Von Miller pans out in this matchup too, right? Because one thing we do know, Mahomes, I mean, he doesn't look fast, but he's able to escape, right? And he scrambles for good 20 yards. And then we know what Josh Allen does. I think we said this when they met up in the playoffs last year, right? Just containing these quarterbacks, not allowing them to get outside the pocket, do extra things, and free up time and create plays with their legs. So it'll be super cool to see if Von Miller can make an impact on that game come Sunday. Let's roll on Sunday Night Football. This is the one. This is game of the week for us, obviously, I would say. As I mentioned, Eagles, Cowboys, the first one of two this year. Obviously, the Cowboys surprisingly 4-1. Cooper Rush continues to win. We saw them absolutely bully the Rams last week. Micah Parsons, he goes off the field, and then the second he comes back on the field, it's like a snap of the finger. The defense is sacking Matt Stafford, throwing him on the ground. Micah Parsons is a stud. I keep saying it every week. I hate that he's a Cowboy because that guy is so good. He can play everywhere on the defense. He can jump out the linebacker, rush the passer, get out in coverage. He's so special. But then we get the NFL's only undefeated team. Jalen Hurts looking like an early season MVP candidate. Nick Sirianni looking like a coach of the year candidate. This team looks like a legit Super Bowl contender, as it says on the bottom. 6.5-point favorites. Cooper Rush confirmed as the starter. So what are you looking at? I mean, this is a big gut check game for each of these teams. I'd say a lot of emotions running high. It's prime time, under the lights in Philly. The rivalry is huge in Philly. The environment's going to be crazy. So, I mean, what are you making of this? Obviously, the Eagles got to find a way to block Micah Parsons, control that, and keep Jalen Hurts upright and really just run their scheme, right? Which Nick Sirianni through 5 weeks has done a good job of.
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it. I think the link's going to be rocking. The atmosphere is going to be going. The players are going to be ready to go. It's just all about like blocking Micah Parsons defensively. He's such a game wrecker. I cannot say enough positive things about him. I'm with you. I hate that he's a Cowboy, but he is so damn good. He's fun to watch. It's incredible how fast he is. So to me, like, can we prevent Micah Parsons from just straight wrecking the game? like wrecking plays. I think 100% Micah Parsons is going to ruin some drives. He's going to get us off the field. We're going to be punting. I think the key is that we punt and it's not a fumble or interception. We can't be turning the ball over. And honestly, the key matchup is like Cooper Rush against the Eagles defense. They look good. They do ball control right. They like to run heavy between Zeke and Tony Pollard. We have a very good D line, and our secondary's played extremely well. Like, to me, I think that's the bigger matchup is our defense and Cooper Rush. Obviously, all eyes are on Jalen Hurts and Micah Parsons, but like, I think they're going to get the best of each other, like at multiple times. I expect the Eagles to score points. I expect Micah to get us off the field on certain drives. To me, it's about the Eagles defense. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but slowing down Cooper Rush and that Cowboys offense. I mean, I don't expect them to be like world beaters and score a bunch of points, but the Cowboys defense is capable of like winning the game and having the offense score just like 17 to 21 points. So to me, if we can get to Cooper Rush, slow down that run game, I think we'll be great. If we put pressure on Cooper, make Cooper play a full 4 quarters, make him throw the ball, make him have to drive down in the fourth quarter. They need points. You're not playing with the lead. I think we could see a different version of Cooper. I think we could see him make mistakes. And that I think is where the big turning point of the game will be.
Yeah, you hit it. Yeah, I mean, you added to it perfectly. The game's going to be won at the line of scrimmage on our side, being able to control Micah Parsons, and then on our defensive side, just being able to slow down and not allow them to chew up clock and run the football down. I mean, down our throats. We struggled with that earlier in the season, but it kind of came back around. We shut Travis Etienne and the Jaguars down a little bit. We were good against the run last week. Obviously, the Cardinals were down, but yeah, I mean, we know what the Cowboys are going to do. They're going to protect Cooper Rush. Pollard last week against the Rams front, 8 carries, 86 yards and a touchdown. Zeke added 22 carries, 78 yards. So they're looking to pound the rock, really set Cooper Rush up pretty much to do the same thing the Giants do, right? And not have to make any tough throws and just eat away at the clock and let that defense get out on the field and do their thing. So yeah, I mean, it's a gut check game. I would love for us as a team to put Cooper Rush, and similar to Daniel Jones, make him have to win a football game, right? Get off the field, control the line of scrimmage, and really make Cooper Rush do something. Make him beat you. Don't let Micah Parsons, don't let Zeke, don't let Pollard mow you down, and make it a long night.
The one thing that sucks about this football game, just from an Eagles fan perspective, is it definitely feels like the Cowboys are playing with house money, right? You got a backup quarterback. You're 4-1 when you did not expect to be 4-1. You're expected to lose this game. You're underdogs by 6.5 points. You're going into the link against the undefeated Eagles. Like, that's the only thing that kind of sucks is like the Eagles are supposed to win this game. So if we don't come out rocking and we kind of give it up, that's going to be a tough loss, to be honest. Especially with Cooper Rush playing and not Dak. And if you're the Cowboys, I mean, it's house money, right? You'll bounce back against the Lions next week. Dak gets healthy. I mean, at worst, Cooper goes 4-2 or something like that. And it's like, it feels really good for Cowboy fans, honestly. Like, it feels like they're playing with house money on Sunday night.
Yep. This is really, it's a big one. Primetime stage, Jalen Hurts really to continue that MVP campaign, maybe could even catapult himself clearly into the first spot after 6 games. Yeah, I mean, it's nerve-wracking. You never want to lose to Cooper Rush. You want to come out and look good. You never want to lose to the Cowboys. But yeah, as you said, I mean, if the Cowboys are able to go into Philly, steal this one, they can rest Dak another week playing the Lions and then have him come back post-bye, then it gets scary. Because as you said, they're playing with house money. Cooper Rush has nothing to lose. He knows he probably has 2 starts left and it's back to the bench. But it should be interesting. But go Birds, man. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Sir.
Sirianni hasn't let me down yet. So we're gonna keep riding with it. On to this week's, week 6 spread picks. Here they are. I forget, you do have the records written down somewhere. I do not. I come unprepared without the records on the season. I believe we're close. I think you said last time I'm like 37-1, and you're like 36-39.
You nailed it.
Yeah, so I have it in the brain. I don't have it on paper. But what games do you love the most this week? Any ones that you really, really like? I know you like that Chiefs one with Mahomes being an underdog, but is there one that you like better out there?
There are a couple I like better. As much as I love the Mahomes underdog spot, you got to be aware of the context. It's Josh Allen and the Bills. Anything could happen in that game. Same with Seattle as a home underdog against the Cardinals that have not looked good. Same exact logic. You just got to be kind of weary because Kyler Murray could win any game. It's still a divisional game. The 2 that stand out to me is Jags +2. They already blew the brakes off the Colts. I expected them to bounce back last week against the Texans. I think this will be very telling for the Jags the rest of the way. If they struggle against the Colts or lose to the Colts, I think they aren't as good as we were hoping they would be on the little ascension they had back-to-back weeks of looking really good. And if they look really good again, then I still think it's a young team on the rise. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Jags. So I like Jags +2 quite a bit. I don't know how anyone could feel good about Matt Ryan and the Colts. And then the second one is Jets +7.5. I think the Jets could straight up go into Lambeau and win the game. I don't know why Green Bay is still getting favored by touchdowns week in and week out. You had New England by 10 points. They took them in overtime. They had the Giants by -8. They straight up lost. And here come the Jets +7.5. Even if Green Bay wins, I don't think they win by more than a touchdown. I like Jets +7.5 a lot this week.
Yeah, I like those two as well. I mean, Matt Ryan sucks. I continue to say it week in, week out. Matt Ryan is awful. And the Jets as well, for the same points you made. Where's Aaron Rodgers attacking down the field? Right? He can't attack down the field. The offense is pretty abysmal. He doesn't take shots. Another one I like, Vikings 3.5. I would have loved it at 3 on the dot, but 3.5. I think Skylar Thompson is slated to start for the Dolphins. So it's like you're down to your third string quarterback. Your run game really wasn't that good anyway with when Tua was back there, when Teddy was back there. So it's like, I don't know what the offense is going to look like. The defense is pretty good, but I expect them to just get gassed out there because their offense is just going to be that bad and inefficient. But any other closing games? You excited for Thursday night football? You excited? Excited for Monday night football? We get another Broncos primetime game. Actually, screw Thursday night. Another Broncos primetime game. I like Chargers too. Like the Broncos suck.
Chargers have to cover at 4.5. I'm sure the Broncos will find a way to straight up win or lose by a field goal. But like, you got to pick the Chargers. And then this Thursday night, Commanders, Bears, like, I don't know, flip a freaking coin, dude. Talk about garbage teams. You're better off just slamming the under 38. I mean, I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored at all. And then the last one is Atlanta 5-0 against the spread against the Niners. I see you rocked with the Falcons. I took the Niners. It'll be interesting if they can stay undefeated against the spread.
Yeah. That's all I got. Yeah. Chargers, hopefully they cover. The Broncos are good for ruining primetime. So I would not doubt it if they ruin Monday Night Football as well. But that's going to be it for the Week 6 preview. Thank you for tuning in, listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Drop any feedback for us or add us on Twitter if you want to have any banter. If you're a Cowboys fan, come with it. I love the banter with the Cowboys fans. Very delusional fan base, especially being down here in Texas. As always, Spotify link will be in the description for audio only listeners. And yeah, we'll be back next week to wrap up Week 6 and get into Week 7.